Zaik.
How's it going?
It's going all right.
The
All right,
third
okay.
place winner, Zaik himself, with the Acid
Yeah.
Nexus.
Tell us
Yeah,
a bit about
boy.
this Nexus. How'd you get the idea for it?
Oh, it's a long story. Basically,
This is your chance for all the long stories you want.
yeah, this is the chance for all the long
We're
time.
right
Let's
ahead.
think about where to begin. So, if we want to begin,
Yeah. When you were a small child.
when I was
Yes.
a small child, no, but when I was making Wolf Murder, it's probably the right spot to start, which is the second map of the Nexus, which is not the first map I made. Or rather, it is the first map I made.
Okay.
Rather,
Yeah.
the first map I made is not the first map of the Nexus is not the first map I made. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a logical progression
Sure.
for my reasoning, and it starts in the Wolf Murder. If we're gonna do a narrative here.
Yeah.
So basically, as I started, I wanted to enter the competition, and I didn't know what to do. But I had some discussions recently, perhaps even with some, I don't remember exactly who was involved, about designing maps with easy main routes and difficult fast routes, or hidden
Okay.
fast routes. So I started out with that as my idea for this map. And what I came up with was you put this wolf here at the start, and then if you put some a death zone later to lure it into, you can avoid killing it.
Right.
Great. So killing it early is easy, and luring it into the death zone is more advanced.
Yeah.
And I think I recall I made up to like the first loop-de-loop in my first draft of the map.
Yeah. Okay.
But then as I designed the second section, I thought it would be more interesting to just keep the idea of aggroing things into the death zone, which at that point I had already decided would be vats of acid.
Yeah.
And then I realized that this is gameplay that I'm mostly unfamiliar with. And then I decided to experiment a lot with this and basically make the entire Nexus about it.
Okay. Cool.
So each map is like a different, so to speak, way to play around with things being lured into acid.
Right. Yeah. So I guess the idea with this one is that it's the wolves and kind of baiting the air.
Yeah. The wolves will follow you, so you have to avoid the wolves, and you have to make sure they follow you.
So this was the first map you made, or you said like you made up to the first loop, and that's when you decided to make the whole Nexus?
This was the first map I completed. Too. Yes. I think the exact order I made maps in was I made field tutorial.
Yeah.
Then I made 2 failed drafts of what eventually became Corrosive Temple. Then I made Pachinko, then I made Corrosive Temple, then I made Acid and Difficult, and then I made HFBF6.
Right.
At the very end.
Yeah, gotta make that one last.
Yeah, of course. I wasn't sure I would have time for it, but I kind of had time for it.
Nice.
Kind of. It ended up...
Kind of is a correct description.
Yeah. It ended up with roughly the same amount of polish time as the other maps had. The problem is that it's all the other maps combined, so it should have had approximately 5 times as much polish time, probably. But it is now a map that exists, at least.
Yeah, I think
Indeed.
It works well enough. What was the testing like for this, or just the maps in general, but specifically this map because it's the one I'm on?
Yeah, so I made sure that if the idea was it would work if you went fast.
Okay.
I wanted it to work okay if you went slow, and I wanted it to work always if you went fast. And if you went like mid-speed, then sometimes it would break, and I would be okay with that.
Right.
Now in practice, I think you can go fast enough to break it at some points. there's a very weird interaction with the first wolf. I still don't know why it happens, but if you do the intended strat, sometimes it would slid over way further to the left.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's always hard dealing with like these AI manipulations.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if it's because it's de-aggroing or if it's like how it hits the slope or something weird like that.
I think it might have something to do with it like turning around.
Yeah,
sure.
but but like it can skid over like 3 additional blocks or something.
Yeah. Here, let me
at the start.
Let me get into the mindset of. There we go.
Yeah, I did a lot of testing with AI on. Wait, okay. Well, this is not what I exactly did. I don't think I ever booted this up. Maybe I should have. Maybe that would have helped.
I don't know about that.
I love how it has its own splash screen for the 3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
that is so nice.
It's beautiful.
So good.
Boss mode is truly the most underappreciated game mode.
But yeah. But now that we know the idea for the Nexus, I guess we could go back to field tutorial.
Yeah. Start
Perhaps.
from the first map. Or maybe be...
Maybe not be a wolf anymore.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard as a wolf, I think.
Yeah. So from this point on, you have the acid vat idea concept.
Yeah. So this map is just meant to introduce people to 1, you can kill enemies by pushing them into acid. 2, it is faster to do so.
Right.
The second point, or like not just it's faster, it's intended to do so. Which is not a message I'm sure everybody got as they were playing it. Because I was watching a lot of judges, a lot of people play this for the first time, and even like they know things die when they go into acid.
Right.
They would still attempt to like kill stuff.
I guess it's just like such a common thing. It's like you gotta kill the enemies.
Yeah.
But I suppose that's why having this map as kind of a first map is good.
I realized in hindsight it's a bad idea to follow this map up with Wolf Murder, because Wolf Murder, the way, at least in the very first part, like the acid is so far away from the first enemy.
Right,
you kind of forget about the concept. Yeah, you kind of forget about the concept.
This ending is interesting.
Oh yeah, there are some really cool strats for that ending. It wasn't when I designed it. I didn't have any super cool strats in mind. I just had basically what you were doing, like go right and then go back under to the left. But it turns out there are some cool stuff you can do. I'm not sure if this has like the fastest strat.
Those uplights are very cool. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, those are intended.
Okay.
Yeah, this strat.
That's
the
hit it down.
Doc found out. I think there is another strat too. I don't remember whose replay that is. Maybe that's Epon's replay.
Sure.
I think Doc has the same strats at the end.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think Epon does a different ending that is at least in theory faster.
Let's take a look at that.
The problem is that the rest of the map is not like terribly interesting to play through.
I see. So yeah, hit that one, and then while it's falling, you kill this middle guy.
Yeah. I think this is in theory faster, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Certainly some interesting routing, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to talk about the secrets and stuff yet, or maybe just go talk about that all at once.
We could do like a lap afterwards where we talk about all the secrets, because most of the secrets were added, so to speak, in post anyway.
Okay. Yeah, and they are all kind of connected.
Yeah, since it's all connected, let's talk about that at the end.
Yeah.
Sounds good. But yeah, so this one, I think it's a little bit simpler, like by design, because it's introducing the concept of.
Yeah, I mean it's supposed to be a map you can just like the first time you play it, you can basically just walk through it.
Yeah.
No real big challenge until the very, very end.
Yeah, it's not trying to kill you, despite all the vats of acid.
Yeah, no, the vats of acids are your friend.
Oh wait, did they even kill you? Okay, they do.
They do. There are so this is an interesting point.
Yeah.
At the
Why are
slime
these
choice I
not
made.
death zones?
They are death zones, but they're enemy death zones. It's a thing I've noticed when I played other custom maps.
Okay.
When there is like lava or there is like acid or whatever. I really dislike the death zone fade out for those. Because I feel like you're not falling down an infinite pit and fading out. You're
Sure.
getting hit by something.
Right.
So I prefer to hide the spikes behind it.
Okay.
To get the hit effect, like, oh, I fell into acid.
Yeah, I fell in
Ouch.
acid. Oh my god, I'm dead. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially in the case, like, these ones are on layer 20, but sometimes people put, like, lava on 17, and then you just kind of fade out as you fall in front of it.
Right. Which kind of ruins the suspension.
Yeah, who would ever do that?
But I'm not trying to call anyone out. It's just something I've noticed as I played other maps, and it's something I had in mind when I made this map, or the Nexus in general, that I wanted more feedback when you hit the acid.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Then as for visuals, I think these parallaxing things in the background are a nice touch. They're simple, but they work.
I mean, this is just like virtual map, very basic visuals.
Yeah.
I didn't go particularly ham on the visuals at all in this map.
Yeah.
Or in this Nexus in general. I don't think I would have had time, because I went, so to speak, ham on the game mechanics instead.
I think there's some nice visuals in some of the later maps, but actually, especially Wolf Murder, I think has a lot of nice polish. But
I think Wolf Murder, I don't think it does anything particular original, but it does have, I guess, a lot of variance in it.
Yeah.
Like you have this little grassy area.
Mm-hmm. With
you
the
have,
lab kind of in the background.
Yeah.
It's a neat
Originally there was, and you can still see it by the way, there was more bars behind the grassy hill.
Bars.
But so if you go to editor and you remove 19 and 17, I think. Let's see if I remember correctly. Probably 16 too. Yeah, you can see there's some bars there. So originally the entire background was covered with bars, but I thought it made it too hard to see the window.
Okay.
But as you can see, I missed some spots when I removed it.
Yeah. A little bit on 14, it looks like. Okay.
Previously I couldn't see them, but the center, like this is probably the one section that's got the most adjustment of all the maps in the entire Nexus.
Yeah.
That one part with the
Just
wolves.
this one start.
Yeah, to make it line up right when you do the intended strat. Hint, hint.
Yeah, getting the wolf all the way to the acid is
Yeah.
tricky.
And that slime ball is still upside down, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I missed the opportunity to fix it like 3 times. Someone pointed out in playtesting.
It's intentional.
Someone pointed out in playtesting. The judges pointed it out again, and I missed to fix it every time. At this point, it's intentional.
Yeah.
At this point, for sure, it's intentional.
So what's the lore with this map? I get the sense that there's something going on here.
I mean, the general lore is that this is some sort of laboratory,
Yeah.
where they were committing experiments with acid, and for some reason they really like experimenting on wolves.
Yeah. And I guess that kind of experimenting theme extends through the whole Nexus.
Yes. I'll full admit that the lore is, so to speak, retroactive in a sense.
Okay.
I had the acid theme way before I started deciding that there would be some sort of scientists throughout.
I believe it does talk about in the secret for this map some, I think it was wolf eradicating acids or something to that effect.
I think canicidal was the exact word I used.
Yeah.
So yeah, they and I think in Pachinko they talk about that's where it is. Canicidal origins, or humble canicidal origins, or whatever. So we can have a look at Pachinko.
Of Pachinko, why did you make such a cursed map?
You think this map is cursed? I think this map is blessed.
tires.
I think this map is great, personally.
Not like this.
I think this is
Also, I think I have second place on this map still.
So, Pachinko originally the combat map was supposed to be. I mean, obviously, you gotta have a combat map to begin with. I don't think I need to explain that. Originally, that was supposed to be a map called Rock Hunting,
Okay.
where you would try to fight versus totems and get them to fall into acid if it was convenient.
Sure.
For various reasons, that map got scrapped, and instead we now have Corrosive Temple.
Oh, interesting.
But then I got the idea of knocking tires around, and the leap from that to Pachinko, it kind of designed itself.
Yeah.
The idea, at least, once I realized you could do this. The actual map layout has actually only gone through 3 iterations, I think.
Okay. Just like moving
And
around the
they've
blocks
been-
to make sure that they didn't conflict with each other.
Yeah, they've been mostly similar too. And of course, Dustforce kind of breaks the map.
Yeah.
As Dustforce
he
is
does.
prone to do.
Yeah.
As he does.
I think my route uses more lights. If you're curious on a different perspective.
Yeah,
Sure,
I
I can
think
check it
in theory. Is this mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you can see I got cycle locked a little bit at the end there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting optimization problem. Like, do you hit it into the acid or do you deal with it yourself?
Yeah. Originally, it was supposed to be that it would be way faster to hit them inwards, because if you hit them outwards, they would bounce around a lot. In practice, that feels really awful to play, because getting around the tire
Right.
is
Yeah, trying to
really
dodge them.
annoying. You don't want to have to do that. So
That
it's
was the
better
part I
to
could never continue.
yeah. So it's better to allow people to move around in a circle around the middle in some order, and have geometry that accommodates that. I think it speaks slightly to my inexperience with Dustforce mechanics that these slopes in the middle are completely unusable.
Slopes
It felt
in the
to me
middle?
like, yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
slopes on these 2 platforms
Right.
in the
and
middle.
I guess it's just
I
it
don't-
happened that the best route didn't really use them. I think there's
Yeah,
a universe
it's-
where they could have worked, but
Yeah, maybe. They're supposed to just let you move. Like, if you are, for some reason, going for example, bottom left to bottom top, you can then fast fall, boost up across to the other way.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think that makes sense. It just
and lines
gives
you up,
people,
lines you
like,
up pretty
options.
well. Lines you up pretty well to light that tire and then wall jump onto the little platform on the side. But yeah, this map has a lot of clipping, by the way. I got that as feedback in
really?
my playtesting. Yeah, if you go around with the edge brush tool, you'll find it. I decided it didn't matter, because there's not much you can do with it anyway.
Yeah, let's take a look.
So
That
it's
platform
mostly
looks fine. I guess on this one. some.
the top left has some,
Yeah.
and I think the right middle has some.
Yeah.
No, right top, right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. A little bit there. Can you even get it?
Yeah, but it's like,
Ooh.
and I'm not sure what you would ever even if you could get in there, what would that do for
Hey,
you?
nice. Yeah.
So I didn't think it was an actual concern.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can light them through the floor, simple enough.
Yeah, especially if you're Dustforce, the platforms are not thick enough for that to matter.
Yeah.
I will say,
It's funny though.
surprisingly difficult cycle-wise to consistently light them through the floor. I remember I was having a problem on the one right above you at spawn, where I would just miss it half the time because it would be on upward cycle or something. That might have been when I was still playing as man, though.
Yeah.
Maybe. Dustforce does break
I-
quite a few things.
Yeah. I don't remember if I think I tested it that you were not supposed to be able to easily get it with an up just jumping from second 0.
Right.
But if you delay a bit, or if you play a different character, maybe it works better. I think I tested it with Dustforce.
It's an
Maybe
interesting
not, though.
thing. Like, I wouldn't have expected you to consider that.
I did spend some thought on like what optimized routes I wanted. Like I wanted a few optimized routes to be at least competitive.
Okay.
So I made sure that like the easy Dustforce route wasn't like a full second faster than the super hard man route, for example.
Sure. Yeah.
Stuff like that I put some thought into.
Okay.
And I think in the end, Dustforce is still the best by far, which is not too surprising to me.
It's hard
But
to
man
avoid that.
Yeah, man is relatively competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Relatively.
As for visuals, I like the theme of just having stuff sitting in the acid. I think there's other maps have that too.
Yeah, I actually brought that back to the other maps from this map.
Oh, cool.
This is where I did it first, and then I was like, that's good, I should do that also in Wolf Murder and Corrosive Temple.
Yeah. Nice.
The virtual maps obviously do not have it, because they're virtual.
Yeah, they're virtual. Can't have non-virtual props and stuff just sticking out of the acid.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes no sense that there would actually be stuff in the acid in the virtual world, right?
Yeah.
As for like the surroundings, it's just very simple, city-like outline.
Yeah, everything's
If it
supported by pillars and it
yeah,
looks very real. Like, very...
if it wasn't for the
sound.
secret area, this map would be very disconnected from the lore, I feel like.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's like a city style, whereas the others are more lab themed.
Yeah.
We'll just peek at that a little bit and we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Why the choice to have... we won't go too much into the secret here, but why the choice to have the player kind of dip into the acid to get to the secret on this one?
Oh yeah.
I was just thinking about where I could reasonably hide a secret area.
Yeah.
And I was like, if
secret.
you've played the secret in field tutorial, you've already tried dipping into acid once. Probably quite a few people got into that area a different way.
Yeah, they went in through the exit, I guess.
Yeah, they went in through the exit. And I think if you know how Dustforce works, you will very quickly realize that there's basically nowhere else for the secret to be hidden, other than behind the layer 20 stuff.
Okay.
And I don't think anybody had much problem finding that area, so I'm pretty happy with that decision.
Yeah.
I would agree. More so just a curiosity.
Yeah. No, it was just that it was hard to put it anywhere else. And
Fair
then I could get away with putting it completely hidden because it couldn't be anywhere else.
Alright, Corrosive Temple.
Yes.
The individual map submission.
Yeah, this has some cool gameplay.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought this was like the best intersection I had of interesting and not super frustrating, which is why I picked this for the individual map.
Okay.
It has some
Sorry.
Obscure strats, maybe?
Yeah, I think big totem AI isn't something that's super explored.
Yeah. No, it's actually quite interesting how they work.
Come on,
Yeah,
guy.
you just lost that one somehow.
Yeah, he didn't want to fall.
He de-aggroed on your way down there somehow and did a jump to the right. I'm not sure why he jumped to the right there, actually.
Ah! I just got
The
dunked.
spawn point... So how they work is they either jump towards you if you're next to them,
Yeah.
or if they've jumped, they'll do one jump back towards their spawn point.
Yeah, they try to return to their home horizontally, but not necessarily vertically because they can't.
Yeah, they can't, yeah. The gameplay for this was relatively straightforward to create. It went through, I think a few areas went through a lot of changes. This upcoming area with all the totems. I had a lot of challenge deciding what should be to the right.
To the right.
To the right of the platforms that the totems are standing on.
Oh, I see. Right.
Because for it to be, yeah. So in order for, yeah, you wanna bait the totems, and you wanna indicate, you wanna make the player be there and do something for just enough time to always bait the totem. Yeah. So I had various, like originally there was just dust on the side. That was not nearly long enough. And then I think I had like layers of weird dust blocks you would have to attack. Okay. And that didn't work always either. And it turns out doing 2 light attacks on a slime is basically just the right amount of time to aggro a big totem and then move on with your life.
Okay.
And that is why there are 2 of them here, another 2 later in the level, and quite a few of them in the medley map.
Yeah, I think that was a common style.
Yeah, they're just very convenient.
Yeah,
I know people don't like fighting them, but if I look at it from the perspective of what they make the player do, they just work out very nicely here.
Yeah. Although I do think with this section, a lot of people just ended up supering it. But the
intended strat here is actually kind of hard to find. It's not what your intuitive reaction does not lead to the intended strat.
Yeah.
Because your intuitive reaction here is to go above the top platform.
Right.
And the intended strat is to save your air charge and fall down to the lower platform and kill that slime blob and then go up again.
Okay. Okay, you do have world record. Nice.
Yeah, I have world record on this. It's not very grinded.
Yeah.
So this should be, I think, all intended strats. This is not the fastest strats you can do.
Yeah, sure.
But it shows
okay. That doesn't spread dust. I guess because of the slope of the ceiling.
It did have a chance. No, but that strat never spread dust. There was other ways to make that spread dust in the one I submitted for the competition. Because I had messed up a bit. Oh, yeah. Because I had messed up a bit.
I see.
In the in how I placed the spikes inside, basically.
Right.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
That's how you do that section.
Interesting. And then you get the super for there. Cool.
Yeah. You just follow the dust.
Yeah.
It works out. This section at the end here, we have to kill 2 of these.
Timing those downlights is pretty tricky.
Yeah. That section went through several iterations.
Okay.
It started out with having them next to each other. That didn't work out very well.
Like just exactly side by side?
Yeah, like not on the same tile, but like a little bit apart. In my head, I imagined someone like going down there and doing doom 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 with that rhythm, and then like dashing out. That would look super cool, and you would feel like a ninja or something. But in practice, that was too hard for me to do, and like, even this code section is pretty hard. Getting that downlight when you fall is it's it's challenging, and you have to get the second downlight is a lot easier because you're not falling as far. But it's still a bit. At one point, the upper spring blob was just a regular blob.
Okay.
The problem was that killing that without spreading dust was challenging. And if you do a downlight to the left, you spread dust that you later clean while you clear the spring blob.
Okay.
But I felt that people would think the strat was like unintended and bad if it spread dust. And I think that's an inclination people will have.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate.
So eventually I ended up with this way where I just raised the spring blob up a lot and moved the totems apart a bit so you don't pull both at the same time.
Yeah.
So that last totem is probably the weirdest obstacle.
Yeah, I think you have to wait a little bit because, there's nothing there to like stall you.
Yeah, exactly. So in the entirety of the rest of the map, you just have to follow the enemies that aren't big totems and kill those in a fairly intuitive way, and it will kind of work, except maybe the middle section.
Yeah.
But this last big totem, you actually kind of have to know how they work.
Right.
Because it's not so like I think you can if you go close enough or high enough to the platform, you can wait. But in practice, you have to jump a bit.
Yeah.
So the intended strat is to get over there and do a jump next to the platform, and then like slide to the left into the hole in the ground.
Yeah, okay.
And then it will jump down and suicide. So yeah, if you do that, then you fall down. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then because these aren't death zones, they're spikes, it's not as punishing. Maybe.
Yeah, the actual fall is very lenient.
Yeah. When I first saw this, I was like, oh no, this looks like a Terra.
No, it's not even close.
It's much nicer.
It's you can die, but like it's solid 2 tiles or something, I think. So I was slightly concerned that people wouldn't see the spikes and be worried, or like it's hard to judge where you are when you can't see the spikes. But I think in practice most people get down there pretty easily.
Yeah. I think people just kind of went for it and was like, oh, I didn't die. Great.
Yeah.
I like the particle effects on these.
Yeah, I mean, I experimented a bit with how to make acid waterfalls look. There are a few of them in the background and a few of them in the foreground.
Yeah.
And I just kind of settled on this effect where you have, I think it's either frozen or very slowed down acid splashes falling in roughly the way they would.
That way they don't pop in midair as often.
As often, yeah. And of course we have the bubbles on the acid everywhere.
Yeah.
Because this acid is made from layer 20 dust blocks.
Right. Yeah, so you gotta add that in post. It doesn't just do that.
Yep. Interesting note about the final section. If you were a judge, you'll remember that the end flag here was actually below the platform.
Oh, I see. And it would just kill you repeatedly.
Yeah, it would kill you repeatedly. That doesn't like break the map, but it feels bad.
Right. Yeah, it's like the difficult kind of.
Yeah. Thing. So the reason for this, and this will be a recurring theme later in HSBF, is that there is an issue with unloading the big totem.
Unload it.
If you fall too fast.
Oh, I see.
You can unload it. You could unload it before it dies. Yes.
Right, and then.
So I ended up. Yeah, and then so I had to move that entire section up a bit.
I see.
And that, for some reason, I didn't move the victory flag. Either I forgot, or my anti-selection didn't pick it up, or I don't know.
Sure.
But like, since I did the intended strat, which was super, I never noticed.
Yeah. That makes sense.
A similar story, actually. I ended up shifting the entire falling section. If you go back a bit, actually.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, it's on delay, so. This entire falling section, originally the run-up to it from the boost on the left was shorter. Okay. But this caused an interesting issue where you would get these checkpoints, and one of the totems would have their position saved on the slope in front of you, and it only saves the position and not the speed. So you would get to your checkpoint and you would constantly have a totem in front of you, hitting you out of it. Yeah. So I ended up spoofing the entire thing like 3 tiles to the right and moving the checkpoint to make that less likely. And I think you can still get that in some like very specific instances.
Yeah, if you just have some specific amount of speed.
Yeah, if you do things like wrong in just the right way, you'll get that.
Let's see who did that.
Yeah, that could probably be it.
Maybe. It was a little bit
it was too late. Yeah, it's hard to get it now. Yeah. So I got rid of that problem at least.
Yeah, it's funny dealing with like these entity manipulation maps, just trying to get the AI to all work the way you want.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging, and I think in some cases I succeeded very nicely, and then in some cases I did not. Especially, I would say, we can take that story now too. The falling section again had a pretty large change to it made in between the judge version and the release version.
Okay.
This side bit with the 2 turkeys did not exist.
Oh, okay.
I think you just killed this turkey at the top, like the top right, and then one, and then you slid on a wall, that you jumped from to kill the slime blob next to the. Yeah, it was like a big wall here.
Sure. Something not quite like
and
this. But,
yeah, not quite like that. It was angled, but whatever.
Yeah.
So you slid down that, you dashed out to kill this, and then you slid down again.
Yeah.
The issue with that was that it was possible to get there before the totem did. And especially if you kill the slime bob by dashing left and like back heavying,
Yeah.
which is a very common speed technique,
Right.
you would just end up never getting to aggro it.
Yeah, you're never in his aggro area.
Yeah, when he, at least not when he can attack you.
Right. Yeah.
So I ended up having to find a good way for you to spend enough time to land him, and then also not allow you to dash back to the left, which is how I ended up with this turkey that's in this cone. So you have to dash to reach the turkey, and you have to dash to leave the turkey.
Yeah.
And that way you have to freeze in place while you're down heavying the blob.
Yeah.
And that way you will always aggro the totem if the totem is there at least.
It's an interesting, like, different style of map making, where it's like, okay, I have this. I'm not trying to like design obstacles for the player. I'm trying to like prevent. I'm trying to just make this particular gimmick work.
Yeah, it's a combination, right? Because the totems, as people pointed out, the totems are like hostile. They can definitely hit you if you're mess up or if you're slow
Absolutely.
or whatever.
Yeah, it still is an obstacle.
So there are still obstacles. It's just that you design it in a way that if you, so to speak, you don't have to just dodge a totem.
Right.
It's always, if you're supposed to dodge a totem, you're supposed to like dodge the totem and do something.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Except for the very end of the map where you have to bait the totem with no prompts.
Yeah. Yeah, putting the AI manipulation in the player's hands.
Yeah. I'm not sure I could have indicated that. Maybe like dust blocks on the ceiling or something that you were supposed to jump and hit. Could have worked.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's hard to say. I guess the checkpoint is all the way back here, so you have to.
Yeah, it's quite a run. It's a pretty big section for one checkpoint.
I don't know. I'm not sure how I would deal with that differently. Let's see. Anything else to look at? What exactly are these? I have trouble figuring it out.
They're supposed to be like silos of acid or like containers of acid or something.
I can see it. Yeah.
Which you kind of can tell that they are after you clear them, maybe.
Yeah. I think that kind of makes sense. You can see sort of like a glass look.
Yeah. Yeah, a little
shine.
bit. They don't look terribly good or anything. They're just kind of there to motivate the dust blocks being there.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta have them there for some reason. I mean, they do look interesting at least.
Could have put glass in the foreground? Yeah, I could have.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably.
Oh, like above.
Yeah. Maybe that could have worked. The problem is that...
Or you could have made the... Continue.
I thought it would be a problem that the foreground is extra green, but maybe it's not on this map.
And also maybe like having this kind of hides the dust blocks.
Yes. I would agree with that part.
Yeah. Maybe
the
people
other
think
thing you could have tried is kind of matching them to the vat geometry rather than having them be this kind of awkward shape. So having it be like actually acid inside it.
There might be some like combo things to worry about in that case though. Like if you give the player too much dust, that might just
I don't
super
think...
something.
Yeah, I mean, I could have... if I was following that, I would make them like half full or something, probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You could have them be roughly the same amount of dust, just kind of matching it up so that it actually looks like it's filling the vat.
Yeah, that would have been better, for sure.
Yeah, maybe.
And then you could maybe do some sort of extra effect. I don't know.
Glass? Maybe.
This clear glass. I don't think there is. I think
there's
you have
this
to
water.
use. Yeah, there's water. There's water without surface.
Oh yeah. This one. Yeah.
And that could be
you can maybe like
glass with-
color it. Yeah, and it could maybe
With the
look
right
like
fog
glass.
trigger. Yeah. I don't quite like how the acid escapes it at the bottom.
No,
but
yeah,
whatever.
you're right. Anyway.
Yeah, side note,
Interesting.
side note. Yeah. Didn't put an immense amount of thought into that particular part of the art.
Yeah.
The art for this level is like pretty straightforward. Ooh, I can talk about the elephant actually. Let's
Sure,
talk about
yeah.
the elephant in the
Let's
room.
talk about the
Yes.
elephant.
Oh, in the map. Yeah, the elephant in the map. So the elephant is another, so to speak, retroactive addition.
Sure.
Because originally, pretend the entire elephant does not except for his trunk. So basically, I had this little floating pillar with dust on it,
Yeah.
attached to absolutely nothing. I was like, what can I attach this to that makes sense? Do I like make an arch for this pillar on the right?
Yeah.
That, by the way, just extends into infinity and also doesn't attach into anything.
Yeah. It goes into the sky. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes
There
in
you
the, it goes pretty high up. It goes pretty high up, yeah. That's a editor Easter egg only,
It's
unless
good.
you do a lot of twirlies.
Yeah. Please.
But yeah, then I decided, well, what if I put some sort of lab structure to the left,
Sure.
and it can be tied in how they transport the acid. And then I was like, hey, this kind of looks like a trunk. Hey, let's make an elephant.
Yeah.
And then the elephant was born, and I like my elephant. It is a nice elephant.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's got legs.
Big
Good
Ben.
thing. It has this slime drainage tube at the middle and the bottom, which I'm pretty sure you will never, ever see unless you're specifically apple juggling back under this thing.
Yeah.
Because you won't see it from the right. If you land to the left,
Yeah,
I'm
you don't
also
see
pretty
it
sure you
from
don't
the
see
top.
it.
Yeah, you see
Yeah,
it
you don't
briefly
see it from the
for
top.
a sec, but yeah, it's only once.
Yeah,
you come
but
back.
like, yeah, it's basically just for if you apple juggle back, you get to see it. But at least it's there.
Some interesting camera work.
Oh yeah, the camera is, it's
Nice.
It's like I wanted. There was two things the camera had to do. The camera had to kind of allow you to see that there was something to land on when you were standing at the ass of the elephant,
Yeah.
and then the camera had to work if you were apple juggling back.
Right. Yeah. Hence the different path here with the force.
Yep.
Goes under.
Yep.
And then you've got this nice one-way that connects up to the main path. That's cool.
Yep.
This is some
rest
interesting
of-
camera work.
Right. So this is the other secret camera
Oh, yeah.
work for that.
Yeah, another force. And then a disconnect. I wonder...
Yeah. I don't think that one works.
No, I think this one has to be a bit smaller so that the disconnect is actually
Yeah.
outside of it.
Yeah. Or they disconnect further away.
Yeah, that works too. Yeah. Interesting one-way here. I guess to keep this as like a smooth path.
Yeah, I don't want, like, if you're jumping up, I don't want this to jerk upwards
Yeah.
in the wrong direction. The rest of the camera, I think, is pretty straightforward. Nothing
Yeah, it looks
super
like it.
complicated. Yeah,
Alright.
nothing super
That's-
complicated there.
Until we would come back to take a look at the secrets, I think that's good for that map.
Yeah.
And so one more main map to look through.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Alright, I guess before we go to that, we can take a look at the Nexus a little bit.
Okay, we're seeing almost all the Nexus now. So the Nexus itself is not super complicated. I basically made it in a counterclockwise fashion,
Yeah.
just like putting stuff down where it made sense.
Yeah, it
So
kind
I
of
started
takes from
with-
the theme of each map.
Yeah. I just started with like the two rooms, one for the entrance, one for the field tutorial, and I was like, okay, you go out. Here's Wolf Murder supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I put a little extension from the main building where you can kind of see some grass and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where Wolf Murder will be. Then I need a city part. And then I was like, okay, let's go upwards. And then on top right, I'll have the sea with the forest in the background. That's Corrosive Temple.
And then,
You can kind of see there. And then I was like, okay, let's jump back over. I think originally I had a bridge going down towards the middle.
okay.
Instead of this jump around the edge near the gargoyle.
Sure.
But this ended up working way worse with the camera for the Nexus.
I see.
So I just kind of removed it and made you do the little reach around.
Yeah. That way it's
Uh,
all just...
it also
I
looks
see,
like
it's
the
not quite
party-
one path, but yeah. Simple intersection.
So yeah. Also, the particles look extremely broken. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, that just happens when you zoom out. It's...
No, not those
Something
ones.
to do with stars.
Yeah, there's supposed to be particles in these vats, and they
Oh,
are.
I see.
But they're supposed to fall. I have wind boxes below. But like, yeah, for some reason.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
Yeah, I had a lot of issues getting these to work the way I wanted them to in my testing, and I think they're supposed to work like I want them to work. Yeah, like here they look correct.
Yeah, okay, that looks normal.
So I don't know what happens there. Wind triggers are confusing.
Yeah.
I think it's more so particles are
Oh,
confusing
is
and
it-
don't work sometimes.
Is it this particle trigger has the wrong particle state? Maybe it was...
Oh, maybe it does. That would be a bit silly. Maybe that is the case.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway.
probably. Yeah. Well, that's a big side note.
Yeah, we can see what it's meant to look like.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
looked correct at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
There
For
we
sure,
go,
definitely looked correct at some point.
Right, Sidium difficult.
Yes.
Back to the
So,
virtual style.
back to the virtual style, because I felt like making it a difficult,
Yeah.
and difficult are virtual, hence. The basic idea behind this map was I realized, like when you hit an enemy, there is hit stop, which allows you greater control of your aerial drift.
Air control, yeah.
So the idea is to make an aerial drift control map.
Okay. And uses a lot of these, the like 5-hit golems.
Yes.
Golems.
It's similar to Field Tutorial in that sense. The 5-hit golems just end up being very convenient enemies because like they're enemies that take very long time to kill. Usually, if you're not
Right,
like,
if you're not
like,
taking advantage of the
like
acid.
yeah. So in some cases it's faster to kill them because you get an extra air charge.
Okay.
But most of the time, that ends up not being the case.
This knight at the end is sometimes rude.
Yeah.
So another kind of elephant in the room from my end. What was the intended strat for the tires?
Yeah, these are.
You can. We could look at my replay. Do I still have
yeah.
word recommend this?
Let's take a look.
Maybe I still do.
But yeah, the tires definitely got me quite a few times.
Yeah, the tires. I'll keep I keep saying they're 100% consistent every time, except when they're not. The intended strat was just to run at them full jump and like ride them with downlights.
I feel like 100% consistent until they're not. Is it actually a perfect description of the tires in this map?
When I was grinding this, the tires were not the scary part. Like, this worked very well for me.
Yeah. What I had tried was doing side lights, and like sometimes I would hit it with a side light, and then it would bounce back into me.
Yes.
But yeah, it seems like with the downlight it works pretty well. Until it doesn't. And then you just super him, and then you don't even have to worry about baiting him into the acid.
Yeah. At some point there was ideas about like boosting around on those sides and like jumping around and trying to bait them, but it just ends up being more awkward than the just supering.
Yeah.
I also think the tires are probably the only time where I've actively tried to design it so you can't down heavy them easily on SS run.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That is
I
a very.
tried that first.
Yeah. Do I do the con strat here? Oh, I do.
Ah, cool.
But yeah, like because I realized, like with the air charge, and since you can single heavy them, it made sense to antagonistically design those so that you couldn't easily just down heavy them. I think you can get side heavies on them with very specific timings. But...
Yeah, like at the top of their arc or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aside from that, I think. Wow, interesting. Cow did it the other way. But yeah, like just uses these gargoyles very nicely. Cow, please.
Oh my god, what a dust spread, actually. I think it makes sense.
Heavies are certainly something.
Yeah, this is not a Dustkid friendly map with how it works down. I thought in theory Dustkid would be okay on this map because Dustkid does have like more air control options than other characters do. In practice, the poor attack range just makes the sections like really hard. Yeah, like this. Ugh. Don't want to have to do that.
It's nice how the knights just move backwards to follow you.
Yeah, like if you skip a knight, it will kill itself, which is very convenient, both for you as a player and for me as a map designer.
Yeah. Come on, Cow, you got this.
I think the biggest, so to speak, sadness for me in this is I think nobody found out the Night Surf strat by themselves.
The what strat?
So I think I do it a very little bit in my run, but since I skipped the second 2 nights, I don't do it that much. So the idea was that you would dash from a wall or dash on top of a knight and do a bunch of downlights to kind of push it backwards and ride it forwards across spikes. Which I thought was a really funny find.
Yeah.
And like kind of fun to do too.
Right, because the shield is facing the other way.
Yeah, the shield is like facing you. So you do a bunch of hits on their shield and like push them forward.
Oh, I see. Yeah, like that.
I think I get one hit here, like one hit there, and that's enough to get across there. So originally, this section is supposed to have you dash from that platform and then like do downlights on those. But it ends up being faster to not do that.
Right. Yeah, because it's just easier to, faster to not hit things.
Fortunately, that concept made a return in the next map.
Okay.
And in that map, people actually discovered it by themselves because it was like more like obvious, I guess. The setups for it were more obvious.
Anything else we want to talk about? What's going on here?
I just wanted to fill some empty space. So
Sure.
I made some sort of thing.
It's abstract art.
It actually means absolutely nothing,
Nice.
but it glows, I guess.
We've got, we've got some nice numbers.
Yep.
That may be secret
What's with the lore of the Overseer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's watching.
Yep. From just floating in the air.
Yeah, I don't know. So originally, the top left, I always knew it would be a secret area. But I also just put the level icon there, and then I just kind of filled it out with this AI that was talking about the madmen, as he calls them, and how they relegated them here. And then I was like, well, it's funny if he talks about they're watching. Yeah. They're close, and then you just apple fly out to the left.
Yeah,
and
right
they are indeed very close.
Out of curiosity as well, are those wire props like all over the background?
Yes, I think these are wires. Yeah.
Okay.
I just felt the
every time I see them, I think I'm going crazy because they're like just out of view, but you can definitely tell they're there.
Yeah. No, I just felt the background was rather empty with nothing in it. So these are all like scaled, bent. I think those are the right ones. And this would be on probably 3 or 4 or 5. So just scale this a bit and put it on the right sub layer probably.
Yeah, we're just trying to find the right sub layer. Ah, there we go. Okay.
So it's just a bunch of these.
Yeah, nice. Did you do any copy pasting, or are they all placed by hand?
These are actually all manually placed. This is before I knew about the strength and benefits of copy pasting props.
Yeah.
So man. These are. So I did this. This didn't take that long. I think it took me 1 or 2 hours to place these.
Cool.
It's not too bad.
A lot of manual work.
Oh yeah. originally I wanted to like have the effect of it appearing like cracked glass or something, like reality is breaking down. But it ended up looking more like red lightning or something.
Yeah, or maybe like veins.
Yeah, it looks cool.
I was thinking almost
really
like tree roots.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it looks like, it looks pretty cool. Which is
yeah, exactly.
important part.
That's all that matters.
And neurons, yeah, sure. And neurons would have more interconnectedness, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
So before we head to the last map, let's go back through and look at secrets.
Sure.
Yeah.
So first one, we got blind maze.
Yeah. Well, it's a pretty nice blind maze.
Yeah, it's got some direction to it.
Yeah. I placed the props so you can kind of tell where you are, like on a global scale, even if you can't tell where you can go.
Right. Yeah, it's like, oh, I've seen this
and
prop before.
Yeah, and the actual like layout is also designed in such a way that if you just like fall down and walk around, you'll get to the light switch pretty fast.
Right. Yeah. But then it's harder to actually get to the secret area.
Yeah, I mean, the secret area is designed so you can't find it without turning on the light.
Yeah.
Plenty of people did so anyway.
Yeah, I guess because they came from the exit.
Yeah, when you came from the exit, like, I'm so surprised by how many people just jumped at that ceiling for, like, seemingly no reason.
Yeah.
Yes, there's some other elephant reference.
Yeah,
this was added post-judging. I think a good point somebody made in the judging was that originally the NPC over there was talking about the facing of enemies in relation, like the enemies facing. I think I have that NPC at the top now. So I have like a small, so to speak, hidden indicator for what direction you're supposed to attack things.
Okay.
And that means, in a sense, that you're supposed to attack them from their front.
Right. Yeah.
So every enemy is faced in the direction where I think you're supposed to attack them from.
Cool.
And this holds true, I think, across all the maps.
Yeah. I have to go through and check, but I believe you.
Yeah, it resets if you go to the start because it's just a fog trigger.
Yeah.
So this one I think was in the judging too, but it's just a hint that you're supposed to find the acid breaches, as I call them.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's a hint to these things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's see, where can I start with this? So I realized pretty early on that I probably wanted some sort of overarching secret to really tie it together. And I came up with this idea of acid pipes, or like pipes that you would walk through.
Sure.
And then you would find a secret area.
Let's head there.
Yeah, so we can head to that area. And I mean, the actual Nexus itself is pretty linear. So as long as you know there's a sixth map, I think it's fairly obvious that you're supposed to go up here.
Yeah, at first I did not know that there was a sixth map, but yeah. Once you know.
Yeah, once you know, you know. I made that area easier to get into compared to the judged version.
Okay.
And this place has improved visuals compared to the judged version.
Interesting.
Well, that's an interesting camera bug. I've actually had a lot of those weird camera bugs with teleport triggers. I had a similar issue in the judged version of Pachinko Difficult, where if you went to the lower area and then the top area, you would bug out the camera when you teleported to the secret area.
Right. Yeah.
There's something weird
triggers,
there's something weird with teleport triggers and connect nodes.
Something, yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So this is basically a glorified password entry system.
Yeah.
So you go into a pipe, you come out the pipe on the other end, it fades out so you can't see what you're doing. Each of these are, in practice, associated with a number.
Yeah.
And then there's just like a password.
Yeah. It was cool to see this because I've made sort of a similar style of map that didn't actually work properly.
Oh, really? I didn't think this was particularly hard to do.
Yeah, no, I just... let's see if I can...
Find it.
Yeah.
A
Here it
fun
is.
fact about this.
So I had the exact same thing, but it's just one room, and it just leads back to itself, and so it just appears like it's doing something.
Oh,
And so when I first got to this room, I was like, is this just the exact same thing? Is this just a joke? Just because, like, that's something that I had seen before. So, it's, yeah, it was just, like, brute force, try to figure out where to go. But, yeah, it's, like you said, it's a password, and it actually works. If you know what the password is.
If you know what the password is. I don't think I remember off the top of my head what the password is.
How is this
I think
implemented?
it's a custom script. It's
oh, really?
not-
Okay.
Yeah, this is all.
Neat.
Even the teleport triggers here are custom.
I was expecting it to
Because-
be just like multiple copies of this room that like all just look identical, and then
No,
yeah.
that would probably be more work.
Yeah, okay.
I think, yeah.
It would be more work, but it would be easier.
It's
I don't
less
know
code.
how to
Yeah,
describe
but
it.
like,
But I mean,
like,
if you're
when
comfortable
I-
doing the code, then yeah.
yeah. I was like, I had this in mind. I was like, well, algorithmically, it's super simple. If I just look at the API and this seems doable, I can just do it. And yeah,
Right.
I looked at the API, it was super doable.
Nice. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a bunch of small triggers. Each trigger has a number and a target, which is
Yeah.
basically what number does it enter into the password and where does it take you.
Right.
And if it detects that you completed the password, it will conditionally take you to the correct exits.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
there's
surprised to see that
even-
that's a custom script. That's cool.
Yeah. No, I end up, as I've noticed, as I made more maps after this, I end up making a lot of like very single-purpose custom scripts.
Yeah.
I find that is often easier than trying to accomplish the same effects using other people's scripts.
Yeah.
I agree.
What times do we live in where just everything is accomplished through scripts?
I made a lot of simple stuff like that when I was making Dustforce Arcade. Like, for example, I made a class for just generic areas, and being able to detect whether a player was inside that area or not. And I'm sure you can do something similar, even within the API, but it was just simpler to do that myself than figure that out.
Yeah, easier to understand when it's just built for your purposes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and if you have your own stuff as well, you can edit it whenever you want to as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially if we're talking about stealing compiled scripts from other maps.
Oh yeah,
can't-
for sure.
You can't even look at them.
Yeah. Yeah, as for figuring out what the password is, so we've got like this kind of two parts here.
Yeah.
We've got a
Yeah,
direction
so
and a number.
every map contains, so to speak, two secret areas.
Yeah.
One of them tells you a direction, another one tells you an order. Happy to report that both the password and the order in the levels is randomly generated
Nice.
to ensure no human bias at all, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, this map has scary secrets.
Oh yeah, trying to get through this area. It's pretty tricky.
I think I changed this. I think I nerfed this a little bit after the judging. I think I made the second spike jump easier.
Okay.
In practice, this area is not that complicated. It's 3 spike jumps, and then like some weird jumps in the middle. Yeah, that clip, I knew about it after the judging, but I don't know like how I would reshape this geometry
Yeah,
to get rid of it.
I think just like by having the slanted wall there, it's just kind of destined to be a clip.
it just kind of lines up
Ah,
there.
okay. I
Yeah,
don't
you're
know why
fine.
I'm alive.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's how that was intended to be done.
yeah, for sure. I mean, that's close enough, right? And then you have this area that looks like it's full of clips, but I don't actually think you can keep out of bounds.
yeah.
You had
I was just
you had
about
a
to try.
zip. Yeah, you had the zip, but I don't
That's a
think you
really
have
cool
anything
zip.
else here.
Huh.
It's a pretty neat one.
Let's see.
Yeah, not. I don't think you can get into that. So you can try.
Down zip.
Ooh, down zip. I haven't seen that one before. There are a few There are a few clips that I got rid of after the judging and the final release of the map. There's a clip here too. Nice. Speedrun strats.
Yeah.
And then you can go back if for some reason you're Skyhawk and you want to do an Apple SS.
Yeah, very considerate.
I did put like very, very minor thought in making sure that an Apple SS is at least theoretically possible.
Yeah, I think it probably would have been possible to get back through here, but it would have been tricky.
Maybe.
It would have been pretty hard.
I feel like
You've seen the things people have made Skyhawk do. I'm sure he would have found a way.
Yeah, and then the second apple is way less fancy.
Yeah.
I think in general that was the theme, that the number apple was less fancy than the breach apple.
Yeah.
So this one is just hiding out of the tree. I think most people found this pretty easily. It's just a pretty obvious spot to have it on.
Yeah. Just kind of around the tree.
Yeah, I mean, there's a tree. Of course, you can climb trees, right?
Yeah, this one. Quite the expansive secret.
Oh, you think that's big? It was supposed to be even bigger.
Oh, really?
But I just ran out of time.
Yeah.
I ran out of time and I decided it was probably a bad idea. So originally, there was supposed to be like a semi-big maze of these teleporters.
Okay.
But I did not have time to make that.
Yeah.
So I just made it like a few main areas that you can teleport in between.
Okay. And then yeah, you've got the one apple down here.
I mean, people got confused enough by just these few teleporters.
True.
In retrospect, I probably should have made these teleports also be custom script to kill the momentum on teleport. Because it's a pretty big problem. Especially like in some cases you'll jump to one teleporter and you'll just fly into the next since you conserve your momentum.
Yeah.
Question for you actually on the apple below those teleporters. So on the apple that's on the bottom.
Yep.
Was that block sticking out of the acid intended?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It is. Yeah. I think it's compared to the judging, it's higher up now.
Okay.
In the original, it was very well hidden, but I moved it up slightly, so it looks a little bit worse when you stand on it now.
Yeah, but at least now you can kind of see it above the acid bubbles.
You could always see it. It's just a question of how hard it was to see it.
Right.
Yeah, I just know it was unsure whether it was meant to be done that way or if you were meant to get an apple from somewhere else.
Yeah, I think because the other apple is in this section.
Yes. You
know
can't actually bring that apple out. Yeah. No. So there is probably still a way to theoretically apple assess this because of these like ducts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, I've already done it and I didn't have to use the ducts because orphan.
Oh, you didn't even have to use the ducts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If I didn't have access to that though, then yeah, I would have had to bring the apple back and use the ducts.
Yeah, so you would dump the apple at the exit from the double secret area, and then you would have it there again when you exited?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, unless there's a way to clip back into the base map.
Actually, yeah, where do you
Well, you can't do that anymore. You can't do that anymore. But yeah.
Oh, can you not clip out of acid area anymore?
You cannot, no.
Okay.
Aww.
Yeah, so this is just supposed to be the acid dimension or whatever.
Yeah. Shows you the breach direction.
Yeah, it shows you a breach direction. It hurts your eyes.
A little bit. But you know, it's acid. It's supposed to hurt.
It kind of prepares you for the theme of the secret map a little bit. The background in particular is similar.
It's
just like real acid.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you were standing in regular acid, that would also hurt your eyes.
Yeah.
I think if you jump in the teleporter from this direction, you're gonna run into the momentum kill problem. I mean, that just takes you out very fast. That's not too bad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you wanted to leave anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, so this secret, I think I came up with it pretty fast, the concept for it.
Yeah.
Just like a big secret laboratory where they were experimenting with teleportation, since that ties into the theme of the secret map,
Right.
which is that they teleported too hard, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll take a look at the last secret. We already kind of looked at the elephant, so
Yeah.
yeah, we've just got
Yeah, I mean, the
elephant
secrets
were made.
destruction path with the breach.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically the idea here is there's a breach and there's like, I mean, maybe
Over here.
teleported, maybe discarded stuff from the labs. Like on the right, it's just discarded, right?
Yeah.
Like you have all these crates, you have these,
The little capsule things.
yeah, little capsule things for containers. And here it's supposed to be like, yeah, maybe a building fell down here or something
Okay.
from being teleported.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Nice.
You can kind of see that the bottom of the tiles are darker than the top.
Yeah.
Because the acid has been like eating at them.
Like corroded away or whatever.
Yeah.
Neat. I like
And
the
then-
little edge work here to make sure that there's no like hard boundary.
Yeah. And then of course to the right you have the elephant turds.
Yes, of course. The mechanical elephant.
Yeah, because of
Yeah.
course they shit. I mean,
Yeah.
if you eat, you have to shit, and this one eats acid, so it has to shit. Just makes
That's
sense.
science.
To me. That is science.
Yes.
And this
Right.
one, yeah, we've got the number, we've got a breach, we've got this guy saying
Yeah.
exposition.
Yeah, he's talking about secret breaches regarding
Yeah.
we're close. We're close is a hint that the entrance to the secret area is close to like this area.
Yeah, I think
Or this
this was the
map.
text box that kind of made it click for me what these mean.
Yeah. This middle secret area is probably the most well hidden.
Yeah, I can see. I agree with that.
I made it slightly easier to get into it. Now you don't have to infinite wall jump quite as much.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't remember if
previously.
You have to do
Previously,
it
this. Maybe you could like do some sort of weird super ring previously, but like now you have this little overhang
Yeah.
that you
And
can
you can just
land
stand
on,
there
and and then you can
You're
disconnect
fresh.
the camera, and you'll get to see this.
Yeah.
Also, various clips fixed here.
That makes sense.
Wow, just getting rid of all of our clipping geometry.
Yeah,
want
I'm
people
not
to
yeah. I mean, I use clips strategically when I think they're good.
Alright, now do you remember what the password is?
From the top of my head, it should be top right, top left, right, down. No, let's say top right, top left, bottom right. Is this right? Maybe. You do that,
Bottom
and then you go
right.
back, bottom right.
Yeah.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just right. That's the fifth one.
Oh, no wait, I only did 3. Yeah, it was top right, top left.
You're gonna have to exit to reset.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it does not realize that they like have a partially correctly imported code. You have to go out and it will reset for you.
Gotcha. Okay, so top right, top left, bottom right, and then something, and then right. I guess bottom left?
Yeah. There's no left, so it has to be bottom left then.
Yeah,
Makes
okay.
sense to me. Oh yeah, it's top left. No, this is not right. If you tab real quick and check the script, you can see the number.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Or
I'm
we
sure
can
this
just
is gonna
move.
work. Here we go. It's gonna let me through right now. Hey!
Oh wow, shit! So this is the little room with the little bit of lore in it.
Yeah.
Where that tells you what happened. That they went too ham on their acid, and they dissolved the fabric of reality itself.
Yeah. And then we have this map that was named so it was named in such a way that it broke Dusket itself. We had to patch it.
Oh really?
Yeah. Well, because this door, it had like, I think all.
Oh yeah, no,
lowercase.
Yeah, no. I mean, okay, it didn't break Dusket itself. It just.
Yeah, no, I'm just
was
I'm
incorrectly
exaggerating, but
Yeah, but yeah. So the name is me googling what's the strongest acid,
Oh, really?
and and this is the strongest acid apparently. HSB F6 is the strongest acid.
HSG F6. fluoroantimonic acid.
Sure.
Yeah. Neat.
Yes. So the concept of this map was it was supposed to be a medley map where
Yeah.
I could use things I thought up late, or it was too hard for the intended difficulty of the respective map.
Right. Yeah, like don't want
So
something
for
super
example,
hard in a tutorial map.
So a good example is this segment right there. So the intended strat here is to hit one of them, fast fall and hit the next one,
Yeah.
and so on until. 'Cause you kind of have to keep full horizontal momentum to the right the entire way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hit the first two without fast falling, and then fast fall for the last two. And then that lights up. And then you have this cute section where you do a ceiling dust block ride, but on enemies instead of dust blocks.
Yeah. Neat.
And if you do it just right, you'll also line up the slant boost on the next section.
I feel like I'm not doing this map justice. I'll have to get a replay.
There's actually a few people. I think we are like 4 people. Oh, you can't do that.
What?
It's not in. It's not in the list.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, here I gotta add
Yeah.
it to the list. Alright, no, it's
You
in.
could-
Is it in any of the tomes? Is it in the one?
I don't think
outside?
it's in any of the tomes. It's an actual secret map. You
Yeah.
can go to your custom maps
Yeah, I can do that.
and find it there. Once you reach it once, which was like, in my mind, the compromise that like
Yeah.
once you find it once, it's in your custom maps, or if you get it from Atlas, it's like in your custom maps.
Yeah. Although you did reveal it on Atlas. If I
Yeah, but yeah, it's revealed on Atlas. Like if someone just wants to get it,
Right.
I'll allow it. Yeah, so these are the intended strats. I don't think I do anything super duper complicated. Maybe some in the second part. But the first part of this map, I think I designed all in one sitting, and I
Yeah.
thought I had like relatively interesting ideas
Oh yeah, I see they
for everything.
stuck with the facing direction thing as a clue.
Yep.
How'd you
And
get
then I have
that
this,
effect with the like acid blocking off the previous section?
Oh, that's just the layer controller.
Okay, cool.
Just a layer controller figure. I have
did-
layer 12 is an extra foreground layer.
Right. Okay, and then you can just kind of swap it in when you need to.
Yep.
It seems like.
And it's only like 2 seconds. It's just for the virtual sections, because like I want you to like enter the virtual reality.
I see. And then neat entity outliner for these.
Oh yeah.
prisms.
Because I felt like if these are not in the virtual world, I kind of had to motivate how they look.
Right, because prisms
so
in
I
a
had
non-virtual map setting.
Yeah. So I had the idea that they could be like crystallized acid or something.
Okay.
So I gave them this green and teal or cyan look. And I tied them to the existence of these layer 20 acid blobs.
Sure.
So then we're basically just running through a variant of each level.
Yeah, making sure to use each gimmick from each map.
Yep. And the overall difficulty is slightly raised, I would say. Especially in the last section.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, like making sure that you get rid of the dust blocks before he gets there.
Yeah. I think there are like a few interesting gimmicks in this part that justifies its existence.
Yeah.
The big totem we passed a little bit ago. I'm not sure how long ago that's gonna be since I'm watching the stream on stream delay.
Sure.
It's one I'm not too happy about because it jumps twice.
Yeah, I know
Like
which
you
one
go,
you're
you go
talking
under it. It
Yeah, and
jumps
it jumps
in place.
straight up. Yeah, and then the second
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, and it jumping straight up is an indication to the player that they've done something wrong because normally
Right.
they die. Normally either they die or they land on like a clear platform, on different platform for you to kill them on.
Yeah, it like makes some kind of progress in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jumping up to trigger those guys. And first time I went through this map, I was like, did they actually die or what's going on?
Similarly to Corrosive Temple, there have been on load issues.
Yeah.
I did a task of this map with like slowdown and save states only, and they can still unload.
Oh, okay.
If you get a really, and there you go. I get the accidental Yorf. Yeah, and here, I agree. Those tires are not nice. This particular section is, I like it when it flows right. It's just that when it doesn't flow right, you feel it's bullshit. I'm pretty happy with the ending section. I like here's the night riding again.
Yeah, and then they just
what I have in mind.
Don't have to deal with cleaning them up.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Monka.
I think, Monka. I think as you can probably tell, the map is CC inspired.
Yeah, a little bit. I
Complex.
can see the inspiration.
Yeah. Which is weird because I've actually never played the CC maps. But I watched Duck play a lot of CC2 at the time, I think, and I liked the idea of punctuating the transitions with like supers and prism clearing.
Yeah.
Or enemy killing.
Yeah, like signifying
So I ended up
a section.
I ended up doing that.
Okay. Yeah, and also just like as a medley map, you kind of can't avoid comparison to Cyber Complex.
Yeah, I guess not. Let's see. Is there anything in particular I want to talk about here?
I think all the visuals are like a direct copy from their particular map.
Yeah,
except for this ending, I suppose.
Yeah, so the visuals are direct copy except for the parts that are like in between maps, where you have this red, green, cyan color scheme.
Yeah.
So this is just to be like the council of green dudes who have ascended to a higher plane of existence, and they're like, join us and let's clean the multiverse together. And there's the lore option of reacting them.
Oh, yeah.
And going to the right and hit the alternative end trigger.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
That looks like a door, but it's actually an end trigger on top of the door,
trigger.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the other case, you teleport.
Can you even get there with
up top.
combo, I wonder?
Oh yeah.
Would it...
Yeah, easily.
I was like, do you have to just give up on the SS for the meme?
Yeah, no. You see, it just barely starts blinking. It's obviously slower, but no, you don't have to give up on the SS.
Right.
If you really don't want to become a green dude, you can dodge it.
Yeah. All right, sweet. Oh, I see. And then you get your chair.
Yeah. You get your share, you become the green dude. And now you can rule the multiverse with your cleaning prowess.
Yeah.
Which is, so to speak, the end of the story of the Nexus, I suppose.
Yeah. Which one's the true ending?
I would actually argue that the Ascension ending is the true ending. Like, you don't want all your work to be for nothing, right?
Of course.
You want that power.
Yeah.
You want that power. The canon ending is the lead ending, I think, still. Yeah. Because if I ever make a sequel, you can't really be the green dude, right? Or I could just, or maybe I could just like make the multiverse Nexus where you are the green dude.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Food for
We'll
thought.
see. Whichever is canon is only decided when the sequel is made, obviously.
Schrodinger's canon.
We could go through the different sections really fast and I can talk about them, because there's some parts I want to talk about.
Sure. Sounds good. Start at the beginning.
So, I think I already talked a bit at the beginning, but yeah, I like this idea of...
This...
I will go back to the very, very, very beginning.
Oh, sure.
Just like the first few seconds. I like this idea of jumping into the maw of the acid, hitting these blocks and having the transition straight into the next level. You'll kind of see what goes on. And it lights up pretty nicely with the boost too, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you'll probably get... And then you have boost in the spikes, of course.
Yeah, of course. Gotta have it.
You have all the green dudes in the background watching you. There's actually a bug here that I didn't catch even after the judging, in that the background in the first half of this section is broken. You can notice that, not in this very first, but in the first part of field tutorial section, you can notice that the nipples don't have the red spots. And this is because for some reason my layer trigger hides layer 8. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But layer 8 is the so to speak, the nipple of the nipple.
Yeah.
It comes back.
topmost.
Yeah, it comes back in the second half of this level because the last checkpoint has to re-add the
Right.
fog and the layer in case you somehow die after exiting to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
The acid foreground here has been modified at the end, so you can
really?
kind of tell if you're missing dust. Like the holes are very
Oh, I
strategically
see.
placed.
Yeah.
So they can see that if you for some reason miss dust, you can kind of see it in the holes.
Okay.
So like if you supered very far to the right and you miss dust,
Right.
you will be able to see that dust here.
Yeah, just quickly glance back and see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, whoops. Yeah, no, I gotta do that backwards.
Yeah. It's facing that direction, so you have to do it backwards. You seem to be operating on a... I guess the outline is active. That's what it should
Yeah.
be.
Something was a little bit different. But yeah.
But yeah, so then you... Yeah, so you can see the dust, kinda. I mean,
Yeah, it
normally
works.
when you super, it's like really hard.
Yeah, exactly. You're not gonna miss like just a single bit.
Yeah. So yeah, I like this section with the dash through the hole and then jump to dodge the wolf.
Yeah.
I think there are timings where you can fast fall into the wolf's active hitbox.
Yeah.
Which
not
is a bit
super
awkward.
Common,
Not super common. I had to do a lot of fine-tuning of this area to make the wolf behave correctly, which is why, for example, there are dust blocks that you have to fall through. There are 2 separate layers of dust blocks in the last fall, and actually this wolf's spawn point
Yeah.
is off to the right,
Yeah,
which is why you can see it looking into the wall at the start.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that ensures that even if you de-aggro it, if you get a super good boost or whatever, it
Right.
will fall into this hole all by itself.
Yeah, it'll just walk over to here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've had to do the same thing on a map.
Yeah.
With
So
this
that's
guy.
neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So this
guy,
section-
he just aggroes, falls
So-
with the acid.
Yeah. I think a theme and a bit of a regret and a mistake, I think, of this map is that some sections exist just to mimic the original map. So this section here, I don't feel is entirely like justified in its existence.
Okay.
It doesn't like do anything particularly interesting. But it exists because there is a corresponding... The loop room, I guess, is what this corresponds to in the
Right,
original map.
yeah, with the boosts. I guess so.
Yeah. And then similarly, the climbing section. I like the lead up to the climbing section.
Oh yeah, I see it.
I like this little segment, but the actual climbing section is not that cool.
Yeah. I guess,
just
yeah,
kinda-
it's the same. Like, it doesn't add anything to the original map. It's the same concept.
Yeah, I would argue it's less interesting than the original map.
Yeah.
Because these wolves have less interesting placement and it's less interesting geometry.
Yeah.
So that could have probably been cut. And I think that could have probably been cut as like a theme for this map.
Well, but then, I mean,
Um,
you gotta have something in the map, so if you want to...
Yeah, obviously, but I could have had the good parts.
Sure.
And then of course there's a chase here. This chase is very short.
Yeah. I
compared
guess you gotta
to-
manage these prisms while you're doing the chase.
Yeah, and I mean, it's similar in Wolf Murder. The Wolf Murder Lost Chase originally was just one chase rather than 2 sets of chases, but it ends up being too hard to make sure the wolves behave when they're being chased for a long time. But this one basically always works, I think, as long as you're like, there's so many spaces for them to fall into acid at the end.
Yeah.
That if you're just
Even
like
if they
trying to
manage
clear
to
the
like
prison,
jump over, it would still...
yeah, they will still fall there, or like even they're
Yeah.
basically always gonna fall down.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah,
then
it
you
looks
have the
like
tree
pretty
again.
much the entirety of Wolf Murder was kind of like interpreted or translated into this map.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Every single section.
Yeah, exactly, and that's gonna become a theme after Wolf Murder. I don't think I had that in mind when I made the fail tutorial section,
Yeah.
but after Wolf Murder, I definitely had that in mind.
Okay.
So Pachinko can't really be the same sort of open-ended combat map. as it is in the real world.
Right. It has to kind of start on this end and end on this end.
Yeah, start on this end, end on this end. Less cycle dependent.
Yeah.
So it has to have a clearer path. And it has a fairly clear path where you go down the bottom and then like snake up.
Yeah, okay.
I realized pretty early in this that people might want a super here. This feels like an intuitive spot to super.
Right. To
So
not have to deal
unlike-
with tires.
Yeah, to not have to deal with tires, exactly. So unlike all the other, so to speak, segment end segments, you don't have to super at the end of this one.
Yeah.
The dust at the end here is designed so that there is a relatively clear way to clear this
It's more sparse.
just by jumping around and heavy. Like you would down heavy the first one, side heavy that, side
Yeah.
heavy that, jump and up heavy,
And then
and
do
then
some
do
lights.
jump light,
Yeah.
light side heavy, and then land, do a light, and then boost
Yeah.
away.
Okay. Cool.
I'm gonna try to So this
Section.
Yeah, so this section it has some interesting stuff, like you boost into it and boost past a totem. I don't think I did that much of in the first map. I have the boost under in the last section, I guess. But I liked this part of like boosting, sealing in, and then hitting that and going on top.
Yeah. And then this guy
The-
gets baited this way. Just
Yeah,
because you're
exactly.
so fast.
Exactly. The geometry of this middle section ended up being really interesting. This like slight bend on the platform after the first platform.
Yeah.
You end up landing here. There are some ways to get a boost here, but otherwise you kind of like just end up landing on it with full speed at the very left tip.
Right.
It's really weird. I'm not sure why it works out like that, but it kind of does.
Here, let's see if I can get it. Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah. If you do are you over boosting? Ooh, wow.
Oh. I think I
Those
just
are
have too
fast.
much. I put my spawn too high up.
Yeah.
Looks almost like a type of fit boost.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I do not know what a fit boost is. But sure.
It's that.
Like that jump. That jump is what I'm talking about. Like when
Yeah.
you jump from killing that, you end up landing in a very interesting
Yeah.
way. I feel like.
Yeah,
But-
those are fit boosts.
Shameless plug. Well, you know, there's a place you can learn what a fit boost is called the Tech
Oh!
Nexus.
Ooh, do tell. Where can I find the Tech Nexus?
Ooh, it's
You can find it
inside
right
Dust-
above the Dust Kid Daily.
Ooh. Interesting. I'll have to check that out at my nearest convenience. But
Yeah.
yes, right after that section, you get the return of like the fast fall, hit 2 blobs with 1 heavy,
Yeah,
and then
we
you have the
to
like slight dash through the spikes, and then you get
Yeah.
the replica of the falling section.
dash through the spikes was an interesting, just
Yeah, I like
section.
the idea of like you hit those, you dash to the right to hit that, you land on the wall, and you can
Yeah.
run up, dash through, and hit that with backwards heavy, reach that wall, and then jump to get the slant boost. I
Yeah,
thought that was like
it's a cool sequence.
fairly. Yeah, I felt like it was a pretty dynamic sequence to do.
Yeah.
It felt good to do so.
Yeah.
Then
and
you
then with
get
this part,
stunt-
you have to move fast enough to get these dust blocks to get him to land on the platforms. Although
I mean,
guess,
you can definitely be slow and he'll land, and it will still work if you dodge him.
Yeah, I suppose.
This guy is cooperative in the sense that no matter where he jumps, he'll always die in the end. Like you can bait him to the left twice and he'll still die.
yeah.
You can bait him to the left, he can un-aggro him and he'll jump to the right and he'll still die in the end. The one concern here was making sure that before you went on the last slant wall, you froze in place to the right of him long enough to make him jump.
Right.
Which is why you have this blob
lot of-
that's far into
yeah.
the wall that you
A
have to
lot
have
of blobs.
Yeah, so you heavy that and then you fast fall and dash to the right.
Yeah, okay. And then, yeah, that just lets you hover here for long enough.
Yep.
And these guys, they just kind of deal with themselves. This guy, we already kind of talked about. Or
Yeah.
was it this guy?
The dash in place. Yeah, it's this guy. This guy will dash in place once.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
sometimes, yes.
maybe.
It depends on how you enter it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's finicky, right? Because it's AI manipulation.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I think at some point that up heavy would have spread,
Oh, yeah.
but that's fixed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think right now it would be hard to get that to spread.
Yeah.
Although maybe you just did.
No.
Nope.
Here, maybe it's like a bob cycle thing. Yeah, there we go.
Well,
So
well
if-
done.
If you're very deliberate, then you can still get it to break.
So yeah, and then you have this section that's supposed to replicate the like the open section in the middle of Corrosive Temple.
Open
Although
section
this
in the
one is-
middle, like after the fall.
Yeah, after the fall,
Okay.
like
With
the
the
dash
square
under
blocks.
section. Yeah, the square blocks, exactly. It's not that similar, but that's like a similar idea that you have to go up and around the blocks and then down.
I can see the inspiration.
Yeah.
This part, it's same slant climb, but in the opposite
Yeah.
direction. I've heard
Yeah,
that there are
this-
problems with one of these small totems.
Yes, the very top small totem will fall to the bottom too late if you go fast.
Right,
So
and just
the
unload.
kill trigger. So if you go to the bottom, you'll notice that there's an extra kill trigger there.
Yeah. Was that added in
because-
post?
That was not added in post. That was added during my own playtesting.
Okay.
Pretty early because I realized that these guys do not fall into the actual acid on the left
Right.
by themselves.
Yeah.
So this kill trigger is just there to get them out of the way once they're at the bottom.
Yeah, and then just because the player isn't going to see it, they'll be off screen. It's fine.
Exactly. So they won't notice. They'll still get the hit sound effect. They'll think, oh, good, it died.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you climb fast enough at the very top of this, that trigger will unload.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, I can see it
Which is
disappearing.
why, yeah. So that's why in my replay, for example, I super this one.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Because that totem, the intended strat is to dodge it, which means that the unintended strat of killing it is rather awkward. So I end up just supering it in my... You can also dodge it and like hang around a bit.
Okay, yeah, just give it time to fall down.
Yep. You don't have to hang around that long. It's just like, if you try to go fast, it won't work.
Yeah, we've got a lot of script triggers. Yeah, layer controller,
Yes.
entity outliner,
So
particle.
that's because you're about to go into a virtual area with
Yes, right.
custom layer controls and custom particles.
Okay.
Um,
This section, mimicking kind of the end of Corrosive Temple.
Yeah.
And
I
then,
actually
here-
like this. I like the start of that section. Where
like
you
with
do
the-
this.
the loop.
Yeah, where you boost into the wall and then you do the roundabout and let him
Yeah.
fall where you clear the blocks. I think that's cute.
Very alcove-esque. And then this guy ends up getting baited down into
Yeah. Yeah.
the...
So
you just
that's
clear-
another case where going mid fast is bad. Because like if it's possible to jump past here before he hits you,
Right.
like that, for example. But if you're too slow, he also won't hit you because you'll be on the wall. But if you're just like mid speed enough,
Yeah. Then you're
he'll
just
hit you.
passing through the same spot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And those
so,
guys-
Yeah, where's the... I guess it's right here.
Yeah, so there's another case where there's an extra kill trigger that's not on acid,
Yeah.
so that they die when they fall down the middle because they will not actually hit the sides.
Yeah.
This area still has, but previously had more unloading issues. So the entirety of Acidum got shifted up, and this was very late that I discovered this.
Okay.
And you can kind of tell because the first drop in the Terra section here is very high. And it didn't used to be that high. It was a shorter drop. It's a bit to
I
the
see.
right.
Yeah.
So this first drop originally, the first drop onto the gargoyle was shorter. But I ended up having to scoof the entire left up, and I didn't have time to correctly scoof the rest of the map up.
Ah, I see. So just to like give these guys time to drop in before they unload.
Yeah, exactly. Or
Okay.
rather, yeah.
All right.
Um,
And then yeah, the
but yeah,
Terra.
so-
I think it still works. It's fine that you have to drop down a little bit.
Yeah, the
As long as
Terra,
the
I
camera-
think, ended up being a bit too tight. I think I should have widened it in some spots.
Anywhere
I
in
think
particular?
Yes. Yeah, right here where you have the little dongle. This dongle right here should have been thinner, I think, or no, dongle in between two of them.
Like this thing?
Yeah, that dongle.
Okay.
Because it's hard sometimes after you do the hit that pushes those two to the left to get enough drift over to the right to clear the dongle.
Yeah, okay. Right, without having to use like an air charge or something.
I mean, you won't have an air charge at that point usually.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. Because you have to, you won't have killed anything.
You're probably gonna use it before this. I don't think you're required to use it before this, but you're probably gonna.
I think there's still options here, because like instead of just throwing these guys in the acid, you can kill them for their air charge.
Yeah, you can always try to kill them. But since this area is so tight, the hit rise makes it difficult to manage.
Right, that's a good point too.
Overall, I'm pretty happy with the terror section. Like, I like this idea of like pushing them down to use them later. It's cute.
And I guess this isn't quite the same as anything in the original.
No, so this does not correspond to anything in the original Acidum, and that's because the room it corresponds to, which is like the big square room after you clear the ones behind the wall. I found that room incredibly boring. And like there was no good way to mix that room up.
Yeah.
So I was just like, let's just make this cool falling section instead.
Alright, neat. And then, gotta have the tires.
Yeah, gotta have the tires. Originally, I think this had one more tire. The first blob was a tire in the original draft of this.
You have this little wall here that's explicitly to make dust terrible.
There's a lot of very hostile geometry here.
That's a good way to put it.
Antagonistic is another way. I'm very proud of the little mini platform that the second one rides on, because that makes it surprisingly hard to have it without spreading. You can side have it if it's at the top, but if it's not at the top, it's still gonna spread on the side there.
Okay.
So that was actually sufficient.
Yeah.
In some ways, I think these tires are better than the one in Acidum, because they clearly indicate to you what the intended strat is.
Right.
Because you have to jump over the spikes and start with the full jump, basically.
Yeah, because in the other one it was just kind of like on the floor with some stuff around.
Yeah, so you could like short hop it and side light or whatever. Here it's pretty clear that side lights are not gonna cut it.
Okay.
And then you have the ceiling boost onto the knight. I like.
Yeah.
Dash there.
It's kind of similar to the normal map.
Yeah. The second half of that section when it flows, I really like.
Yeah.
Then you have the ending. Now you can, exactly, like the bounce onto the knight and stuff is really nice. And then the ending here, it's similar.
Yeah, uses the knights a little bit more than the normal map did. Like in the normal map, you could just kind of skip over them, but here I think
them. Yeah, these ones are not skippable.
Yeah.
I think you have to light at least one of those once. And then of course you gotta have the Giga Walls again.
Of course.
I do hate myself for that decision.
Can't be difficult without Giga Walls.
Can't be difficult without Giga Walls. I do kind of hate myself for this decision. I think in the original ones, their existence was a bit motivated because you did something relatively interesting on them, which was like lighting the
like hitting the enemies between each wall. Which also, by the way, gives you like extra air control and more time to adjust. So I think they're easier than regular Giga Walls, unless of course you have. Unless you have 9 years of muscle memory of regular Giga Walls, then they'll fuck you over. For sure.
For me, they're easier.
And nice classic Cyber Complex ending.
Yeah, it's very straightforward Cyber Complex ending. Yeah, so originally I was thinking about having a sixth section, but the length of the level was really pushing it. I had like 5 or 6 days left at this point, and I wanted to polish.
Right.
You can. Yeah, if you look at the tasks.
Almost 4 minutes. Let's take a look at that. Oh.
You can look at the tasks as they listed. Oh.
Where would I find it?
Do you have a? I'm pretty sure I got that uploaded. Maybe
you published it?
Maybe I forgot. No, I think I published it.
Oh no, it's published. Why wouldn't it be showing up?
Do you have some plugin on? Did I have some plugin on?
I don't know. Well, I see it here on Dust Kids, so
yeah,
I can watch it from there.
Maybe it's submitted as a Dust Tracker plugin one.
Maybe.
I think I disabled it before the rerun, but I don't know.
It doesn't seem like it's got any plugins on. Yeah, I don't know.
So I missed
Maybe
this
it's something that I have.
I got cool stuff there.
Yeah. Nice.
So this was my way to retroactively judge like how long is this level actually, and yeah,
Sure.
it turns out this level is long.
Yeah. So 3 minutes at least, and I think 4
Yeah.
minutes realistically.
Yeah. The boosted stuff is really bad. Yeah, so this is like barely low tide. This is me using a lot of pausing and save states and playing at like 50% speed sometimes.
Okay.
I'm not sure I ever did frame advance in this one.
But just like intended strats, pretty much. If
Yeah,
things
pretty
go
much
well.
intended strats. Yeah, I think like I used the super in the middle section, which is like just ends up being a lot faster.
Yeah.
And this should all be intended strats.
Is this gonna be a super, or did you just fight
No,
these?
I think I skipped the super.
Okay.
I do go under that. Yeah, that. As you can see, even at 50%, the tires are scary.
Yeah. Empty super, very nice.
Have to believe a super on those tires is
I
ideal.
think I heard some down dash spam there.
Maybe. I was playing at like 30 or 40%.
Yeah, something tells me this was not done RTA.
I think so. I mean, an
I don't know,
actual human,
Skyhawk, what gave you that impression?
an actual human performed all of these inputs. I
Yeah,
promise.
that's true.
The good old segmented run.
Yeah. Segmented run at 40% speed or something.
And
The thing that's
how does
never
it
done
deal with-
anymore, because task
Okay,
tools.
just attacks it.
Yeah. Do that trick.
Yeah, it just barely dodges that.
Yeah. I could go even faster. Like I didn't feel like redoing stuff.
Yeah. And then here, yeah, bait them.
Yeah, so during this task was the first time I discovered that you could do that too fast.
Right. Okay.
That I
And
will
then
walk
that's
into
why
the
you
acid mine. Yeah, so that's why I like do unintentionally high jump there. And yeah, if somebody does the 10 of this fast in real life, I'm impressed. This is nasty. And of course, 100% consistent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, is that why you didn't do it in your RTA route?
Yeah. No, it's the night. Actually, in the RTA run, it was actually mostly the night afterwards that I'm scared of. Because night hitboxes are bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't say.
I do say.
Yeah. Neat. Yeah, exactly. You just wanted to show off.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Now it shows up. What the heck?
Weird. It has to appear on the official.
Oh,
Mapmaking.
is it a
This was community-
capitalization thing? It might be.
Oh, it might be. Maybe. Or
Uh,
maybe I did. I don't know. But yes. I think that's all I want to talk about off the top of my head.
yeah.
So I guess I can take a bunch of questions.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, we could
I
look
think-
at.
I think it is a
we could look
capitalization
at-
thing.
Yeah. We could look at the map drafts for rock hunting if you guys want.
I think that'd be cool to see.
Then I'm gonna take over the screen share, I suppose.
Yeah. One sec.
So just click this stream Dustforce.
Yeah, there we go. I fixed it. I had to rename my file to have the right capitalization.
Oh
Now it's
yeah,
fixed.
you had the old file. Okay,
I had
that
the old
makes
one.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
So yeah, if you stream to Discord, then I can
It's gonna work.
restream it. Let's.
Oh, my game crashed.
Oh, nice.
That's it. Does this work? Can you guys see me? I guess I should see it on the.
Not quite.
Let me try clicking the stream Dustforce button again.
There we go. Now we can.
So,
No spoilers for
are-
future maps.
no spoilers for future maps, I don't think. So there's two versions of this. So the idea here was, I can show you pretty easily. Okay, this is the second version. I'll go to the first version first, I think. You can already see that this is awful, which is why it's not in the Nexus. This is the old version. So the idea here was to have a map where you would boost around. You would have a pile of acid in the middle here. You can see.
Okay. It seems like it's kind of an arena style map, so maybe like this was the idea before Pachinko, or.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Pachinko replaced this. You can also see that this is before I figured out how to do the fancy death zones.
Right.
So it was
yeah.
pretty early. So you would do like ba-doom, something like this. Yeah. I don't remember my intended strats for this.
Yeah, and then
You can
just
see
make
that
sure
they're
to
falling
bait
down.
everything into the middle.
So the problem with this version is it's very hard to make it faster to get them into the middle than it is to attack them.
Right, yeah, because
And
it's just such a long distance for them to travel.
Yeah, exactly. And I also had issues with like making a good flow for it.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went on to idea number 2,
Okay.
which was, what if I just make a map that you're supposed to clear with 0 combo?
Ah, interesting.
So
Right.
basically, you just run past all of these,
And then,
bait them into the
if
middle.
you get combo at any point in this, then you'll drop it later on.
Yeah, for example.
Yeah, or at least that's the idea.
I mean, that's the idea, yeah. How do I do this? Oh my god. Is this a false ball? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you bait that guy there.
That's a
come
neat
down
bounce.
here. And then there's supposed to be one in the section here.
Yeah.
But when I was making this was basically when I realized that this is pretty stupid and really unenjoyable to play.
It is a bit convoluted, I will say.
Yeah. So this ended up getting scrapped. And then sometime later I came up with Pachinko.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Pachinko works much better as an arena style than
Oh yes.
this.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah. It's still neat though to see like the thought process.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Is this a camera? Cool.
Huh.
Is there anything else I need to talk about?
Yeah, I think we've gone over pretty much everything. We talked about the maps, we talked about the Nexus, we talked about the secrets.
Do I not have a wolf murder? No. There is. If people
That
have
was one of my
questions...
last questions, is future plans in map making.
Oh yes. So a bit after this, I went on a bit of a spree trying to learn how to do aesthetics.
Yeah.
Which I view as my redemption arc, where I made like 3 actually good maps in a row. I have some loose ideas for grander levels I want to make in the future, but those are either pretty far off or in the conceptual stages.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm gonna try to make more maps to get better at it, and then probably I'll try to get something into the next CMR.
Nice.
I don't know what's
right.
Yeah,
because we actually have a CMR plan now. I don't remember if the
upcoming.
DLC is before or after that. Because if the DLC is first, then obviously I'm
The
gonna
schedule is posted in the announcements channel.
I'm pretty sure CMR is the last event before the next DLC.
Yeah, CMR then DLC.
Yeah. So probably I'm gonna
Also-
try to get something. What? Oh. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to get.
Continue.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to get something into the CMR. Then the DLC, I'm probably gonna be making a map at least one of the weeks, or contribute to maps, stuff like that.
Cool.
And I'm gonna try to squeeze out. Like right now, I've been pretty busy since I'm helping out with the BRB stuff.
Right.
But otherwise, I'm gonna try to squeeze out a map per week or something in the future.
Yeah, and then we've got to finish up that the Nexus, the new Nexus.
Yeah, that one
At some
too.
point. But I think you've pretty much finished your side of that. It's just.
I mean, I'm gonna assist with filling out the brute work of like filling out the entity set.
Lots to do.
This map, yeah, lots to do. Especially since I do have a full-time job and want to play other games too. But yeah.
No, you're not allowed.
I'm always
to play
happy to
games.
help out anyway.
For what it's worth, your last few maps have been really nice.
Yeah,
I think so
absolutely.
too. I think they're better than the maps I put in the Nexus for sure. Most of them. We could take a look. What was
Yeah,
the map
maybe.
I made? I made
Trapeze and Faithful System Buy are the two that kind of stood out to me.
Yeah, so these are basically so both of these are made based on word prompts. So like I take 3 random words from a
Yeah.
generator and I try to make a map based on it.
Fun.
So in this one, I for example had this very convoluted backdrop
Yeah.
that looked like a circuit board.
It's very
And it's
realistic.
like really good, really good practice for making art.
Mhm.
Because like I already feel like the art I make here is better than anything I made before. What the other one
Yeah,
was.
no, I
trying to
thought the
build the
art in
circuit
that
board
map was
stuff.
sick.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Then you have this one. Actually, you can show this in the other direction. Let's do. What was the other one? Oh, back up there. What was the other one called? It was Catch Nordson and.
Trapeze is the other one I
Also,
know about, at least.
If anyone
Yeah,
from chat has any
Trapeze-
questions about the Nexus while we're kind of finishing up here.
Yeah, Trapeze is actually not a word prompt. It was just an idea I had.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, this map is also very cool.
Yeah, that's a very, like, with the spotlights. It's very cool.
Oh yeah, and I don't know if you've seen these yet, Skyhawk.
No, I
You
haven't
aren't
played
caught
these
up
yet.
on maps, are you?
No, I haven't caught up. Oh, and you've got the illegal tiles to make sure that it's all one-sided.
Yep.
Neat.
Yeah, this map is actually full of illegal tiles. I'm not sure if those help these flags not spread dust. Because these flags do not spread dust. Like,
Right.
I don't know why.
Flags always
But,
spread
like,
up. That's just how flags are.
Okay, so it just works out nicely with this map that there's usually not stuff above them.
Yeah.
Ah! Can tell I'm bad at my own map.
How's the
Everyone's
spotlight
bad at their own
controlled?
map.
Is that layer controller again, or is that a custom script?
Yes, this is also this is also layer controller.
Neat.
I think these are 13, 14, and 15. I think I use.
Yeah.
And
Very
then it
cool.
just turns them off and puts them on. I had a lot of issues with prop loading on this one
Yeah, I can imagine.
because these are pretty large and prop loading is confusing.
Mhm.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
I didn't
I'm
even
always-
realize that was layer controller.
I'm always happy when people use layer controller for things.
I think layer controller is crazy strong.
It really is.
Yeah.
And people keep finding new ways.
Yeah,
sec.
it's incredible what people use it for.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
neat map. This one.
Underwater theme, the coral. It's very
Yeah.
cool.
This one is just the result of me spamming props, basically.
Maybe inspired
But
by
they are very-
Econ's underwater map.
Ooh.
Not that much, actually. I think I stole the fishes. There's some fishes in
Oh,
the
yeah.
background here. That idea is stolen from Epon's map.
Yeah.
Apart from that, not actually that inspired
All the
by
other
in terms
coral
of
and stuff
aesthetics.
is all like just custom because I don't think it's.
Yeah, this is just a bunch of like very.
that's a
bunch
neat
of-
use of the banner.
Yeah, I think this worked out very nice. This is like basically me trying to learn how Delos and other people do it. So
Nice.
these are all made from references. Like I took the corals I thought I could make.
Cool.
Okay. We've gone very off topic.
Oh yeah, a little bit, but I think it's fine. I think no other questions from chat, so I think we can
Yeah, no question from chat.
we can
So I
close
guess
it off. We can call
Yeah,
it an
boy.
end to the episode.